Today, we put a person in a new job every 3 minutes, 24 by 7. But we have been transforming. I've been the CIO of Korn Ferry for about 5 years now, and we were about 2,600 people, maybe 800 million in revenue, more or less, as I came to the firm. As I sit here now, we just crested 10,000 people with employees and consultants, and probably more importantly, have really changed what we do. So in addition to all types of recruitment, we now actually have the larger portion of our business is in professional services. So helping companies at other stages of their business strategy to make sure that we align their talent with that strategy and help them execute. So we become a very different place. And that's really created quite an issue for us, quite a challenge. We call it One Korn Ferry, but for us, 1 in 3 people is brand new to the firm or came to Korn Ferry through an acquisition. And as such, even though we're trying to help clients all across their business strategy, the reality is if you're an employee of the firm, you probably don't know all the ways we can help a client. You certainly don't know where to go for help. So that's created quite a business driver, of which Fuse is part of the solution. Fuse is built on a premise that curated content is the minority, not the majority. So actually, the screenshot you have on the up on here is the only curated widget, or purely curated widget, because we do want to send some very specific global messages about living as one Korn Ferry. We have lightweight governance on the news stories provided by a team, really predominantly outside of IT, what we call our collective intelligence team. And we've worked really hard with our friends at Clear People to make the contribution of news, trying to hide as much of the complexity of SharePoint, web page design, make it as easy as possible for a layperson. So one of our stats was we had close to 500 self-contributed news stories that, a little tough to see on this screenshot, but actually is right on the homepage, right under the widgets. We had more self-contributed content than we had curated content. Now, all of that does, just to make sure it's not doing something silly, is subject to some curation by the collective intelligence team. But everything we do is geared towards people working with it and on it. Actually, as you scroll down from where you see here, it becomes completely their content. So that individual's Yammer feed, that individual's office graph, that individual's what we call group explorer, so the teams and Yammer groups and email distribution lists that they participate in is all right under that. So you go from highly curated to purely my view of the world in one page. And that's incredibly important to us because that's what draws people to the site. In Korn Ferry, Friday afternoon about 4:30, you will get a call from a client saying they saw a blog post, a leadership article on kornferry.com about such and such a topic, and they would like you to propose on it. Oh, by the way, Monday morning at about 9:30. Happens all the time. So that normally, creates the firestorm of Friday night phone calls, emails, text messages. You spend, most of the day Friday evening trying to find the right people. Then you spend all day Saturday setting up a distribution list, and they call my IT team to set up a team site. And then you spend all day Sunday trying to find, because the client has clearly asked for something that's outside of your home space. And it's well into Monday before you're actually writing anything or proposing. And so you're already disappointing the client. With Fuse and its ecosystem, that is now a highly leveraged activity inside of Fuse to find the right people. Then it's a team's provisioning to set up the collaboration environment. We use the Office 365 index, including our sales opportunity systems. We're a Salesforce and an SAP shop. So we know exactly what's going on in that client, who the right sellers are. That collaboration environment happens within minutes. And then they spend the weekend actually preparing for that meeting with the client on Monday morning. That's incredibly impressive when we can pull that off, and that happens more and more. But what's equally as important is that's an event that's the start of your conversation with the client. All of those artifacts, that team, that proposal, that communication, those people references, the meeting invites, are then all back in Fuse, so that lower half of the Fuse homepage where people are looking at what's relevant to them, it's there. They don't have to search again for it. They don't have to, was it in this email, or is this a Yammer group, or where's the link to that team? All of that surfaces in Fuse itself, and it's that stateful representation of what you're doing right now. And that makes the intranet, just a different kind of user.